In this lecture, I'll discuss the structure of the course so that you know what to expect. I've arranged the lectures in this course in 5 parts. There's also a bonus section in the end of the course that contains lectures specific to KiCad 7. There is an introduction to PCBs, the first simple heads-on project, 4 sections on PCB and KiCad fundamentals, a series of projects, and the recipes in the end. I'll get into the details of each part in a moment, but first, here's some advice on how to approach all of this content. If you are new to PCB design, be sure to complete the first 3 parts. These will give you the knowledge you need to create your first simple PCB using KiCad. Don't attempt any of the projects in part 4 until you have completed parts 1, 2, and 3. If you are not new to PCB design, feel free to go straight to sections 8 and 9 in part 3 to learn about KiCad and then continue with the projects in part 4. Go to the recipes in part 5 and the fundamentals in part 3 as needed for your projects. Now let's look at the details. Part 1 contains an introduction to PCBs and KiCad. This is where you learn about the basic concepts of a printed circuit board and the manufacturing process. You'll also learn how to install KiCad and start your first KiCad project. Part 2 contains the course's first project. This is a simple project I've designed to help you learn the basics of KiCad and PCB design hands-on. The PCB you work on this project is straightforward and only contains a handful of components. And this is deliberate. I wanted this project to be about KiCad and the PCB design workflow, not the PCB itself. If you are new to PCBs, this project will teach you everything you need to know before tackling something more complicated. Part 3 contains the lectures covering the fundamentals of the PCB design principles, workflows, and how-tos for KiCad's primary applications, the schematic editor, and the PCB editor. The 4 sections in part 3 build on the knowledge you acquired in the previous 2 parts of the course. Don't feel that you have to memorize everything in part 3. Along with the lectures in part 5, part 3 is part of the reference content of the course. You can come back to this content at any time when you need something specific or when you need to refresh something you already know. In part 3, you learn about concepts like vias and keep-out areas, design workflows, and how to do specific tasks like associate a symbol with a footprint or create a field zone. Part 4 contains the main course projects. These projects will help you practice skills you learned earlier in the course and acquire new knowledge. All projects in part 4 of the course are practical. With each one, you'll create a PCB that works. For example, in the first project, you'll apply your knowledge to design a breadboard power supply that you can use with your Arduino projects. You'll follow the iterative PCB design workflow to create a 2-layer PCB and practice using the interactive router and creating copper fields and net classes. Each project increases the difficulty level and utilizes additional KiCad and design features. For example, the MCU data logger project will include a 4-layer version in addition to the 2-layer version. In the same project, you learn how to use an auto router as an alternative to manual routing and use Git and GitHub for version control and sharing with members of a design team. Part 5 contains the recipes section. The recipes section contains chapters that show you how to do specific tasks, like create a custom graphic for your PCB silkscreen or use text variables. In this section, you also learn how to use external tools like the free routing auto-writing application, Git, and GitHub for version control and sharing, and how to export a bill of materials using a contributed plugin. At the end of the course, I've added a new section, that's section 15, in which you find lectures that cover new features in KiCad version 7. This is where you'll find lectures on topics such as the PDF export improvements in the PCB layout and schematic editors, the Spice Simulator, and much more. I recommend that you take a quick look at the contents of section 15 so that you are familiar with its lectures. And please remember that I have also recorded most of the course using KiCad 6. For KiCad 7 specific content, please look in the lectures in sections 1, 2, 3, and 15. KiCad 6 and KiCad 7 are very similar in almost every respect, and certainly seeing the KiCad 6 user interface as recorded in the videos while working on KiCad 7 on your computer will not be a problem as long as you know what these differences are. I hope that this study guide has helped you prepare for your journey through KiCad like a pro. Enjoy!